Welcome to the Game Sense Football Podcast. You're with me, Ewan, and with me is Nas.
Hello.
In today's episode, we are talking about players who have flopped at Manchester United. And we wish that maybe, they didn't leave so soon so that maybe they could have stayed to be a success later on. This episode is inspired by our mention of Diego Forlan in last week's episode. As you know, Diego Forlan very famously flopped at Manchester United, but later on found success with Atletico Madrid as well as international level with Uruguay.
Yes.
So if you are not subscribed, then please do so. We are both on Spotify. We are on both Spotify and YouTube.
Yes.
And also do check us out on Instagram at Game Sense Football. So Nas, anything interesting over the last week?
I actually wanted to mention Scott McTominay because we're talking about players who have left United. Personally, I don't regret that he left, but he is actually now the only midfielder in Serie A who has scored left foot, right foot, and header this season. So I wanted to talk about him, but a different stat caught my eye. It's Rafinha at Barcelona. He has 37 goals and assists in 35 games.
Wow.
More than
That's
anybody.
more than one, yeah.
Yeah, more than anybody in the top 5 leagues. So Rafinha is top across Europe. Pretty good.
Just a little bit good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I think we have to mention Liverpool getting surprisingly beaten by Plymouth Argyle.
Yes.
Wayne Rooney's former club. So right now, I guess Liverpool has to, they can consolidate their efforts on the league as
And
well as the Champions League.
Yeah. So no more quadruple for Liverpool.
All right. So okay, now on to the main part of our episode. Manchester United, Diego Forlan, as we know, very famously flopped at United, left and did very well later on in his career. Good for him. But who are some others we feel that may also, qualify for this mantle of being a flop now, but not so much later? I have no word for that.
Yeah.
Wait, also before we begin on United, also we have to mention that if you're not a United fan, do stay tuned as well because we have non-United examples later on.
Yes.
As well.
Of course, like this topic, this discussion isn't about someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo, who obviously first time he left, all United fans wish he didn't leave because he was not a flop. Someone like maybe Memphis Depay, who did not do really well at United, but later on at Lyon and Barcelona, very, very good. So I have two center backs. And I'm gonna go with Gerard Piqué.
Oh yeah.
Gerard Piqué, who
that's a very good one.
was at United, played like only a handful of games. I mean, he was a young player, so not super experienced, but the talent was there. Because when Barca re-signed him, he immediately went into the first team, and he was the final like missing piece in Pep Guardiola's like Barca machine. And look where we are now. So it was always like a big what if, it's almost like a sliding door sort of moment. Like, what if Gerard Piqué never went back to Barca? How good would Man United have been? And how different would Barca's, like Pep Guardiola's philosophy and the football landscape be now,
Yeah. That's a really good example actually. In fact, I mean, I don't think he really flopped because he wasn't good enough
he
in
just
United.
never got the chance.
He just had the misfortune of being in the team at the same time as the Rio Vidic partnership period.
Yeah.
Okay, nice pick. Good pick. For me, I went with a more senior name.
Okay.
Actually. So I didn't want to think of it as just a youngster coming in and flopping, but maybe someone with the weight of expectation coming in and flopping, but doing well later. So one example could be Healthy Maria, for example. He was really at the height of his career, came in, expectations were very high. He did well in the first few games, But after that, kind of just couldn't couldn't really integrate with English culture as a whole, I
Mm,
suppose.
mm.
And not to mention, he didn't even want to be there to start
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Because he went to PSG and did very well.
correct. But
Mm.
he's not my guy.
Okay.
In fact, I went with another Argentinian,
Ah,
Juan Veron.
Veron. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes. So Veron was a very big deal during back in the day when he came to
Mm.
United.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 28 million pound signing. Huge, huge fee during that late 90s, early 2000s period.
Mm.
Um, he was really successful in Italy before that with Sampdoria, uh,
Lazio.
Parma, and Lazio, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. Then, when he came over, it was to huge fanfare, right? And
Mm.
there were lots of expectations put on him. But I think he had difficulty integrating into the squad because the midfield was packed with class of 92 people, right? So there was
Mm-hmm.
like Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham was there. There was Nicky Butt as well. And not
Mm-hmm.
to forget Roy Keane.
Yes.
Fergie just couldn't find a way to put Veron into the team. He tried experimenting with a 4-5-1 for a
Mm-hmm.
little while,
Mm-hmm.
but just wasn't his thing, right?
Yeah.
Fergie's a 4-4-2 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At, at,
so
le- at least in that point of his career. Yeah.
yeah, correct. At
Mm.
that point of the career, 4-4-2 reigned supreme. Everybody was like a 4-4-2 team. But yeah, so Veron couldn't really integrate into the midfield. And I guess English football was a little bit too physical for him compared to what he was used to in Italy.
Mm.
And even Veron actually came out to say in an interview years later that he regretted leaving United so early.
Mm.
Because, he felt like there was some unfinished business right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so unfortunately things just didn't work out. He went to Chelsea. Immediately after that, didn't work out as well.
Yep.
However, when he was with Chelsea, he was loaned to Inter,
Mm.
and he actually helped them win the Serie A when he was there. And he really shone after that, even later in his career when he went back to Argentina with Estudiantes.
Ah, okay.
And he actually won South American Player of the Year in 2008 and in
Really?
2009.
I
And
did
that's
not
like
know
he
that.
was 33, 34 years old already.
Ah,
He was 33 years old, 34 years old. He won the South American Player of the Year during those years,
in
which is
2008.
incredible, right? Solid, solid
Solid,
player.
solid, solid pick. Yep, Veron. You're right. I mean,
Yes, very.
he very like classy, talented player. Just didn't fit United. Didn't
Mm,
fit Ferguson's blueprint at the time. And like you said,
yeah.
that midfield, with Beckham, Giggs, Scholes, Keane, Nicky Butt in reserve.
Mm,
You would be hard pressed to improve on that midfield in any capacity. Like at least in that era when people weren't playing
yeah,
three central midfielders, like you cannot get better than that.
yeah. And fun fact about Veron.
Okay,
He grew up wanting to play for United,
really?
Sheffield United,
Oh, why?
because his uncle played for Sheffield United during that time
Oh,
when he was
wow.
growing up. Yeah, and I think he there was a quote from him something about like, I grew up dreaming about playing for Sheffield United, but here I am at Manchester United instead, which is like, of course, so much more of a big deal, right?
Yep, yep. Aside from Piqué and Veron, I also had Yap Stam as my other pick, another centre back who
Yup,
left. Like
damn.
there are people who think Yap Stam is the best defender to have ever played in the Premier League, and it's hard to disagree. Like he's definitely
Yep.
top three. Like best ever defender in the Premier League. Definitely top three. It's Stam, Van Dijk, and the last one is either Ferdinand Vidic or John Terry, I think.
I wouldn't say Stam was a flop at all, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely not a flop, but he left way too early, and then the
Mm,
year after he left, United finished third and all, and like he was there when he was the best defender when United won the treble. He left, and United never really replaced him until Vidic was there. And granted, still a
mhm.
generally period of dominance for United, but what if Stam never left? Like, how much more dominant would United have been? Ferguson himself has admitted that he regrets selling him, right? I think he's only regretted selling
Yep.
Stam and Beckham.
A couple of names that I
Hmm,
had in mind also.
go
Uh,
on.
I did have Depay on my list.
Okay.
Another winger I had was Wilfred Zaha.
Yes, Wilfred Zaha, good one. Yeah, he,
Never, I mean, would you say he's a flop when he never even played?
I would say he flopped, but not. It's not his fault. He never got get the chance. You know. One more player is
Mhm.
Danny Welbeck, who came through
Danny Welbeck.
the youth ranks at United.
Hmm.
Played a lot of games for United, and I think the issue with Danny Welbeck is that people wanted him to be as good as Wayne Rooney, and he was nowhere near as good as Wayne Rooney. And since he's
Hmm.
left, he's not become as good as Wayne Rooney at any point. But United in the past few years, even when we were under Solskjaer, when we were still scoring goals, we
Mhm.
could have done with a Danny Welbeck. Someone who would take the
Oh
pressure off.
yeah,
You
no,
could
for sure.
rotate with, with a Rashford, with a Martial, who both of them who maybe played too much, got injured, lost their spark and all. So Danny Welbeck would have been useful then. Yeah.
Would have been useful. I mean, I've always liked Danny Welbeck. I felt
Hmm.
that we shouldn't have sold him at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying that, my enduring memory of Danny Welbeck is that game in the Champions League where he's 1-on-1 against Bayern, and he tries to lob Neuer when he has the whole goal to shoot at, and he screws it up, and United go on to lose.
Does it remind you of someone in FIFA? Nas?
Um. Anyway, anyway, maybe that's why
It's
I
Nas,
like
it's
Danny
Nas.
Welbeck. Oh, I didn't even think of
Correct.
that, but yeah. Okay. Hmm.
So, we have some other names that are not United.
Hmm.
Would you like to go first with one person
Okay,
who you
so
think, kind of flopped but did better later on for
this one,
any club?
in a way, is a double, not double flop, but it happened to him twice. So twice he was
Mm.
deemed surplus to requirements at the club. He left, went to another club, and was amazing.
Hmm. Okay.
So, and it's one of your favorite players, Andrea
Oh,
Pirlo.
Andrea Pello.
Yep, the Italian regista. So he
Hmm.
started he when he was a young player. He was at Brescia and a few other places, but he moved to Inter Milan. And at Inter,
Mm.
he was part of a deal where Inter paid AC Milan a bucket load of money plus Andrea Pirlo for a player named Andreas Guglielmin Pietro, also known as Gulli. I only know that because in FM, there was one season of FM, he was amazing. So Gulli,
Not bad, not bad. You did the
Argentinian,
whole name. Good.
yeah, Argentinian winger, went to Inter, he was shit. But so Pirlo, Inter basically
Of course,
paid
yeah.
Milan for a shit winger and gave them Pirlo on top of it. And he went to Milan.
Yeah.
He was amazing especially under Allegri, part of the important part of the team that had won so much success in the mid 2000s. What I think it was.
Wait, do you
Then
mean Allegri or Ancelotti?
Ancelotti, and then later Allegri.
Yeah, but Ancelotti was the one where he
Yes, you are
cemented his
you are right.
legendary status.
But so then Allegri goes to Milan, wins the league in his first season. Allegri
Yep.
then decides to get rid of Pirlo. He,
Sell.
yeah,
Yes. To Juve.
to Juve,
And
and
then
then
he goes over to Juve to
and then
take
Allegri
over
goes
Juve
over to
and
Juve, and Pirlo is pivotal in Juve winning the league like how many times in a row?
I've got one.
Okay,
In the Premier League,
okay.
uh he played for one of the bigger teams,
Hmm.
was kind of a big flop. Went back to the league where he came from, the team where he came from, rather,
Okay,
and became a club legend. So
okay.
his
What?
name is Iago Aspas.
Iago Aspas. Oh, I have him on my list actually. Yes, Iago Aspas,
Yes, for
Celta.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So was a really big flop for Liverpool. I think he was largely remembered for that
The
horrible
corner.
corner that he took against Chelsea, which yeah, was a horrible corner.
It was
I
a
mean,
horrible corner.
his stats for Liverpool were horrendous. He made 15 appearances in all competitions
Hmm.
in the one season that he was there, scoring one goal,
Mm. But
assisting zero.
but then he goes back to Celta Vigo club legend.
Yes, club legend. Basically, he won like the top scorer award. It's called the Zara Trophy, I think, or something like that in La Liga, basically, for being the top Spanish goal scorer.
Mm-mm.
He won it like more than once
Yeah.
after returning back to Celta Vigo.
There was a period of time where Celta Vigo would keep on beating Barcelona, and Iago Aspas was amazing for like 3 years in a row.
Yep, yep. It's always been rather consistent for Celta Vigo. He even earned a place in Spanish national team
Yes.
because of that. So it's good for him, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good pick. I have a few Premier League specific ones, but the one I'm gonna go with is also a Spanish player.
Hmm.
So it's
Ah,
somebody who used to play
mhm.
for Stoke and Newcastle and ended up being a Champions League and Euro winner with Real Madrid.
Jose Lu?
Jose Lu. Jose Lu, who I think when he played for Stoke and Newcastle as I said, and
Hmm.
both times when he left, nobody really cared. You know, nobody rated him. Everyone was kind of like, Jose Lu, fine,
Yep.
get rid of him. He's just a useless random Spanish player.
Yeah, yeah.
Ends up at Real Madrid and not the star player, but he does scores a lot of important goals in important games. And he was at Stoke in 2015, right? And there were players like Ibrahim
Mhm.
Afellay and Jonathan Walters and Mam Biram Juve. Uh, he was at
Yeah.
Newcastle in 2018 and he was playing with like Jack Colback and Salomon Rondon and John Joe Shelby, who I think did we mention John Joe Shelby last week? Yes, we did. And
Yeah.
ends up, you know, Real Madrid, Spanish national team, Euro winner, Champions League winner. We're like, what?
Nice, nice. Okay, so for mine, I'm going to the Premier League as well. It's
Okay.
a centre back,
Okay.
Jerome Boateng.
Ooh, at City?
Man City.
Yes.
Man City, yes. Everyone, almost everyone, forgets that he was at Man City.
He
He
was
had
he
such a
was
season to forget.
he was terrible at
He was there
City.
for one season.
Yeah.
He was there for one season.
Yeah.
He already was kind of like had a favorite position, which was more of centre back. But I guess he was there during a time when they had some other established centre backs. Who did they have?
Julian Lescott
Julian Lescott, I believe.
and who will be there?
Vincent Company.
Vincent
Vincent
Company, yes.
Company.
Yeah.
Yep. So imagine, yeah, being kept out of the team by
When
Julian Lescott.
Jerome Boateng went to Bayern, obviously he won a lot of trophies at Bayern.
Mm.
Uh, when Pep Guardiola became manager at Bayern, Guardiola said that Boateng told him no one had ever coached him how to play defender.
Huh.
Yeah, and by then he had
Huh.
already won multiple Bundesligas. So yeah,
Well, what a strange thing to say.
yeah, I know. So
Or rather,
how do
what just is a strange thing to have happened.
yeah, I don't know how do you get that far? I mean, maybe that sort of explains why he was crap at City, but how do you get to that
Mm.
point without really basically just like winging it, right? Just on pure
Yeah,
physicality and
exactly.
like instinct,
Yeah. I mean, talent, I guess.
talent.
Talent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a few
Yeah.
more. Not going to spend too much time on them,
Mm.
but two
Hmm.
Former Chelsea players who
Oh,
went
I know
on,
who. I know who.
who
I know who.
I
Salah and De Bruyne.
yeah, Salah and De Bruyne. They both were instantly on my list, but I didn't really want to go to them. But I think we
Hmm.
have to mention them if we're talking about this topic, right?
Yeah. Actually, there's one more as well.
Okay.
Romelu Lukaku.
Ah, yes, Lukaku.
Also at Chelsea,
Mm,
not really didn't really break into the first team. Was a like known to be a wonder kid at that time.
yes.
I mean, I know everyone mocks Lukaku for his bad first touch and his whatever, but the guy is a goal machine, right? So
Mm.
he scores a lot,
He scores a
and
lot against smaller teams, but sometimes
you
you need
you
that.
I mean you
Yeah,
need that, right? You
you
need
need that.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you need
You
that.
you
You need
need
to
someone
ensure that
who
you win the small teams. You need to win the games that you need to win.
exactly. Yeah, you need someone who guarantees you a couple of goals against
Yeah.
the smaller teams, so that you don't need to worry about those games.
Yeah, but I think most amazingly is he actually left Chelsea for Everton and he really
Mm,
succeeded at Everton, which is
mm.
how he, earned his transfers to like other big teams,
Yeah, and then
United,
he
in
also
the
yeah
back to Chelsea.
at United maybe didn't do that well. Then went to Inter and won
Mm,
Serie A top scorer. So yeah,
yep, yep. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Lukaku, I
yeah.
will put him together with Salah and De Bruyne as well. Some good names there. I think refreshing our memories on some guys, how bad they were. I
And
mean,
that
how
bad
good
and
they
then good, yeah.
are,
Yeah.
how good they became, and we forgot how
Yes.
bad they used to be at certain
Yes.
other clubs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, any winners or losers you have for this week, Nas?
Yes. Okay. Let's go with winner first. Okay.
Hmm.
And my winner is actually also
Mhm.
quite relevant to this episode. Harry Kane, who
Harry Kane.
was released by the Arsenal Academy for being too chubby,
Hmm.
and then went to Spurs and Harry Kane and obviously. So anyway, Harry Kane uh has scored
Chubby. Chubby.
has scored 9 penalties this season. It's the
Okay.
first time in 25 years someone has scored that many penalties in a single season. And 25 years ago, the last player who did this played for Leverkusen. It's Hans-Jörg Butt, the keeper.
The keep.
He scored
Really?
9 penalties in one season, Hans-Jörg Butt. Hans-Jörg Butt also very famously has scored against Juventus 3 times in the Champions League for 3 different clubs. He's a keeper, remember? Yeah, insane. But yeah, so the winner,
Takes penalties. Okay.
yeah, winner is Harry Kane for this weird penalty stat, and because
Okay.
he gives me a reason to talk about Hans-Jörg Butt.
All right. Everybody loves talking beer, but
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned
yep.
Nicky Butt just now, so.
2 butts in an episode. That's gotta be a record.
Mm.
Who's your loser?
Liverpool.
Oh, come on. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was mentioned earlier, but it's not often we get to talk about how Liverpool did badly. But yeah, like you said, knocked out of the FA Cup by Plymouth, even though they fielded the second team. The second team still very strong. They should have won, but they didn't. They only had
Hmm.
0.44 XG, lowest this season under Slot.
Okay, so my winner and loser, same candidate.
Okay,
That's Gillingham
okay.
FC.
What happened?
Yep. So, uh, I think last week they picked as the goal of the month for January.
Okay.
It was an own goal, uh,
Oh,
for them by another team
okay.
because none of their players got a single goal in January.
Oh,
That's the loser part, right? That's the loser
yes,
part.
yes.
But I think props to them for kind of owning it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, funny thing is, the runner up
Hmm?
is another own goal.
Oh my God.
Yep. So basically, an own goal won their goal of the month.
Mm,
Runner up is another own goal by another opposition player.
great.
None of the players scored a single goal in January.
Very good. Good job, Gillingham. Yeah. Yeah. Can I also
Yep.
special mention second
Mm.
loser of the week I have this week as a follow-up to last week when I said Sports Interactive. Since
Yeah.
last week I said they were the loser because there were issues with the reveal of FM25. Since last week,
Mm-hmm.
they've announced FM25 is cancelled.
Cancelled.
Cancelled. So yeah, so I guess I'm stuck playing FM24 in my Hertha Berlin save.
And you were saying that there may be a discount soon, and you bought it before the discount, so
Yeah, so
you
maybe
may
I'm
be a
the
loser soon.
I'm the loser, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hope you liked that episode. If you know of any other players who can, make it to the list, do let us know. Leave it in the
Mm,
comments, both Spotify and YouTube. And you can also drop us an email with any topics to suggest to us.
mm.
It's gamesensefootball@gmail.com. And also do check us out on Instagram at GameSenseFootball. So
Yes.
till next time, see ya.
See you guys. Back to my Hertha Berlin save.